Hey, John Prevost here for WhistleBiz.com. Thanks for checking in with me today. Today is part 12 of our LID series, Learning, Improving, and Discovery series. Yesterday we jumped into the designing and testing of a hedgehog concept by talking about remembering the future. Two things that was meant to do was, one, for us to basically challenge our initial understanding of what a hedgehog concept could be, and for us also to be able to understand a little bit better what the path to success looks like for a hedgehog concept. Today we're going to take a deeper dive into the development or the designing of a hedgehog concept, and specifically we're going to use a technique that's called relative refinement. Brainstorming through linear aggregation. So that's a lot of fancy words, but it's simple, I assure you. Basically, it's two parts. One, we're going to do a list-based brainstorming of each one of the components within our hedgehog concept. And two, we're going to do a relative refinement, which we'll talk about once we get there. So let's go ahead and first start with the brainstorming part. So when we have a brainstorming session with a group of folks, we want it to be purely about aggregation. All language should be positive. There should be never any negative attacks. There should be only ideas being put on the board. There should never be ideas being taken down. No editing, no judging. It's basically all about aggregation. It's all about bringing in lots of ideas. Refinement comes second. So basically, first we want to look at the economic denominator. We're going to look at each piece of the hedgehog concept. So first, with the economic denominator, we want to just put up a long list of all the possibilities. Is it profit per manufactured good? Is it profit per transaction? Is it profit per customer visit? Is it profit per goods sold? You know, just have a long list of all the different potential economic denominators. Second, you move over to passion. What makes us passionate? List all of the stories that float around the organizations that thematically get people's juices flowing. What do people get excited about? And then thirdly, we're going to look at what are we best in the world at? An easy way, a concrete way to be able to look at this is, what are we most expert at? That's helpful. What's not helpful is to necessarily ask, what are our core competencies? Because that's the stuff that we've just had to kind of compete with in the past. But it doesn't mean what are we able to be great at? What could be our greatest abilities? So it doesn't have to be abilities that we currently have, but it's important to break that down so we can get to what we can be greatest at and be able to put down all those as well. And okay, so we basically have three huge lists, purely aggregated, let's say 10 to 20 on each list, just a bunch. So we've gone from the aggregation phase, and now we're going to go into the refinement phase. And this is where we kind of make a turn. So we use relative refinement to be able to really isolate and go after what is most important on each one of those lists. And the way we do it is this. We take the first item from, let's start with the economic denominator. We take the first item from the economic denominator and ask the group, is this more or less important as an economic denominator to us than the one below it? Yes or no? If it is, then we are going to get rid of the one below it and measure it against the next one. Is number one more important or less important than number three? If 3 is more important than number 1, then we get rid of number 1. So we've got rid of number 1, number 2. Number 3 is the king of the hill. And we go all the way down the list until 1 remains. And we put that to the side. Then we go to the passion list, and we look at all those themes that we put up there, all the different stories that make the organization so passionate, and ask, which one makes us the most excited? Does number 1 or number 2? Okay, number 2 makes us is thematically more exciting to the organization as a whole. Is number 2 or number 3? Number 3 is, okay, get rid of number 2. Number 3, and then basically we're going to have a king of the hill of that list as well. And then we're going to go over to what is our greatest ability? What can we do better than anybody else in the world? And we're going to work our way down on that as well. And this is a way to be able to objectively be able to get to one entire hedgehog concept through an aggregated form. I look forward to your feedback. Have a wonderful day. Thanks so much. Bye.